So this is Baruch Fleischman, and if you've been listening to the Shiurim, we have just fantastic things coming out of this Reb YAAKOV KRONENBERG, not a rabbi, but an astrologer. And what he's been able to do is be able to put astrology into the context of Judaism, explain the difference between Jewish astrology and the astrology of the Gentiles. Say, for example, in India, it's very, very big, where they pray to the planets, they pray to the constellations. They have no concept, it's not part of their thinking, to think about what caused all of that, the gears of heaven, so to speak, to work. They don't talk about that, but we do. So we're going on here, and we're discussing the 12 tribes, because we see that the number 12 is a very big-time idea. And he brought in the concept of Sefer Yetzirah, and I'll tell you that it takes a lot of explanation to really understand what's going on in Sefer Yetzirah. But Sefer Yetzirah is telling us the very beginning of how things are formed. So here we are. So it said that people who camp in the east, now we're talking about the 12 tribes now. Four of the tribes, three of the tribes camp in the east, are all under the banner of one camp, the camp of Yehuda, Judah, according to the hosting tribe. And the prince of the tribe of Yehuda is Nachshon, the son of Aminadav. So here it is going to be explained what was the order of the tribes according to the way they were placed in the desert. So this is a major part of the book of Numbers. It's the beginning to try to organize the tribes. It should tell you how we lived in the Midbar, in the desert. So the Torah here lists the names of the tribes, plus the names of the head of the tribe, plus the hosting tribes and the size of the camp they were placed on. So let's go to Nachshon, the son of Aminadav, was the head of the tribe of Yehuda. And the Torah goes on to specify the number of men who were members of the tribe of Yehuda and the other tribes of Israel. But after the camp of Yehuda is mentioned, the Torah goes on to say that the camps of Issachar and Zebulun were part of the camp which the tribe of Yehuda hosted. And the prince of the tribe of Issachar was Netanel, the son of Tzuar. And then the Torah goes on to say how many men were in the camp of Issachar. And then the Torah mentions the camp of Zebulun. And the prince of Zebulun was Eliav, the son of Chelon. And then the Torah goes on to tell you how many men were in that tribe. So the Torah goes like that through all the tribes, telling you the name of the prince of each tribe and how many men were in each tribe. So we see two different ways of counting the tribes of Israel, one in the book of Numbers and the other, the more simple way, in the book of Exodus, which is according to the mothers of the tribes and the children they produced. Let's see if I get a little bit better focus here, maybe. So we see so ideally, everybody would really like to use the order of the tribes of Israel as written in the beginning of the book of Exodus. But there's a problem using this order in Sefer Yetzirah, because Reuben, for example, is clearly connected with a sense of seeing. Ruvain. Ru means see. Ben, see the sun. She said, that is what his mother said. Because when Leah gave birth to Reuben, she said, for God saw my misery, and now my husband will love me more. And therefore she gave him the name Reuven. Because the truth is that Yaakov loved Rachel more, and wanted to marry Rachel, but her father, there was a trick over there, and gave him Leah instead. And only afterwards could he take Rachel. So in any case, Leah felt undeserving. So when she had her first son, and that was before Rachel had any children, she said that God saw her misery. But in any case, the name Reuven comes from the Hebrew word for seeing, and then seeing. That says a period there. Let me get this up. It's a big book. And then when she gave birth to Shimon, she said, for God heard that I am unloved, and therefore she gave him the name Shimon, which comes like the word Shema, which means to hear. So we see that the name Shimon comes from the Hebrew word for hearing. So Shimon is connected to the sense of hearing. And if you look at the order of the senses according to the Vilna Gaon and the Rizal, you see that it starts with speech, and then comes the sense of thought, motion, and only then comes the sense of seeing. Now that's according to the list that we heard in the last shir. Let's go over this. And hearing, hearing and hearing. So only the fourth and fifth senses are connected to Reuven and Shimon. So what he's saying is he's connecting the creation. He says our senses, our five senses. And he says here there are 12. He says are actually a creation, not a given. It's just not, they appeared for some physical reason we don't understand. No, they're creation. And only the fourth and fifth months are connected to seeing and hearing. But you want to start with the first month. So you're going to have a great problem if you go according to the order which is given at the beginning of the book of Exodus. Now think about this a little bit. He's coordinating, putting together the concept of these different senses with the tribes. Because if you go that way, it doesn't work out properly. For according to that order, the months which represent Reuven and Shimon would be the first 2 months of the year. In reality, they are the fourth and the fifth months of the year. So I think this is the main reason that order of the tribes in Sefer Yetzirah doesn't go according to the order of the tribes in the book of Exodus. So there might be some other text where the order of the months is different. And there might be an order of months according to which the first month is the month of seeing and the second is the month of hearing. But according to the common text, the text that we have, the text we know, I think that it is agreed by all sages, and certainly it seems to be agreed by the Arizal and the Vilna Gaon. You should notice how we see that the Arizal and the Vilna Gaon are really going together here. They're paired very often, and we see other places as well. The Vilna Gaon is an extremely high place in Kabbalah. So he said that the order of the month began with the month of speech, like the order of the senses. Then only the fourth and fifth months became those of seeing and hearing. So I think that due to this, we come to the idea which we saw in Rabbi Chilya's book, Shari Ora, that everything goes according to the camps. Now, what are we seeing? So we go according to the camps. And then, if you learn according to the camps, then it comes out that Reuven and Shimon become the fourth and fifth months. So other months come before, and there are some months which come after. But Reuven and Shimon were connected to the fourth and fifth month. So you start with Yehuda. Now, I'm not following this 100% because I always thought that Reuven was the first month, which is the month of Nisan. So he's saying no. He says that because he's touching them on to the senses. So you start with Yehuda. Yehuda goes along with Yisachar and Zevulun, who came in the east. They were in the east part. And only then came Reuven and Shimon in the fourth and fifth places according to this order. And in the Zohar as well as in the Sefer Yetzirah, the senses of seeing and hearing are regarded as the fourth and fifth senses. So again, the comparison or the joining of the concept of the senses with the months of the year and the places where the tribes are located. So I think this is the reason for them. The Arizal, the Vilna Gaon, was saying that you have to use the order of the tribes as specified in the book of Numbers regarding the order of the camping. And he goes on to say like this. And I would like to come back now to another idea, which may be a deeper level of understanding why they are doing this. Why this is the order of the tribes, and why they are learning it from the story of the camping in the book of Numbers. So you have to know that in Judaism there are two principal rules. First of all, you have to know if the person is Jewish or not. And how do you decide if a person is Jewish? The answer is simple. It goes according to the mother. If the mother was Jewish, then the child is Jewish, and the mother was not Jewish, then the child is not Jewish. The father does not matter here at all, as far as the definition of whether the child belongs to the Jewish people or not. It all depends on the status of the mother. But as far as the order of the tribes is concerned, we go according to the father. So if the father belongs to the tribe of Reuben, for instance, and the mother belongs to another tribe, then the child belongs to the tribe of Reuben. Then it will go to the father's side. And so it is with any other tribe. The child is a member of whatever tribe the father is a member of, even if the mother is a member of another tribe. And therefore all the children of Israel are called so, because they are children of YAAKOV, who was also called Yisrael. And why I put that in, I'm not sure. And here we should also mention that Israel, so now he's giving us a name, the Yisrael, was also divided into 3 groups. What are the 3 groups? Just the number of the members of the tribe of Levi had the task of working in the temple. And among them were Kohanim, the priestly caste. And the Kohanim are represented in a way by Abraham, the Levites by Yitzchak, and the Israelis, the Yisraelim, by Yaakov. And the laws for the Kohanim were more strict than the laws for the other children of Israel. And the Kohanim had to bless the children of Israel in the prayers of the temple. That was their job. And they would be allowed, let me get this down here where we can read it. And they would be allowed, they would not be allowed to go to the graveyards. And there were other rules connected to the marriage regarding Kohanim, the priests, etc. All these rules were connected to the Kohanim. Now, how do you determine if a person is a Kohen? Well, here it goes according to his father. In other words, if the father is a Kohen, then the child is a Kohen. And if the mother is not a Kohen, even if the mother is not a Kohen, but the father is not a Kohen, and even if the mother was a Bas Kohen, a daughter of a Kohen, then the child is not a Kohen. And so it is with Levi, as it is with a member of any other tribe. If the father is a Levi, even if the mother is not, then the child is a Levi. And if the father is not a Levite, even if the mother is, then the child is not a Levite. And the way this is learned regarding the tribes is very peculiar. In both the book of Exodus, where the tribes are on the order of the mothers, then it talks more about the months of the year, because here we see the origins of the Jewishness. But if you look at the order of the tribes in the book of Numbers, there we go according to the Rav Chatilia said, or what he said, according to the seasons of the year. And if you remember, Rabbi Chatilia explained how it goes according to the seasons and not according to the months. Now, exactly what he's saying here, because I'm not familiar with this Rabbi Chatilia, he says that, so there he started with the season of spring. And then he went on to summer, the fall, and winter. And he connected these seasons to the 4 elements of earth, fire, and earth, water, fire, and air. Now, that was over there. I don't recall this. Let's go on. And if you think, but we could look back a little bit at it again. So therefore, he started with the season of spring. And he went on to summer, the fall, and winter. And he connected these seasons to the 4 elements. So I guess he's saying that in the spring, you start out with fire and Aries, then you go to earth, then water and air, or it's earth, air, and water. That's actually the order of the constellations. So let's go on. And if you think about it, you realize that the idea of seasons is connected to the sun, which is masculine. So the sun is masculine, as opposed to the moon. He says, which is feminine. So the order of the months is feminine, is a feminine order, because the months are defined according to the moon, which is feminine. We're talking about the Jewish months. The Jewish months go according to the lunar calendar. So he said, and therefore that's feminine. And the months are counted, as we have mentioned before from Nisan, as it is said, this month for you will be the head of the months. It is first, for you the first of the months of the year. So we start with the month of Nisan and do the counting. And all this is based, how? On the moon. It's based on the way the moon travels. The moon orbits the earth every 28 days, and that is the order of the moon and the months. But the kufos, that's the orbits which refers to the seasons. The seasons of the year are fixed according to the sun. So there you see seasons go according to the sun, dates according to the moon, because the sun takes time, because the sun makes a circular motion, so to speak, of 90 degrees each season. So each time that the sun completes a 90-degree motion, it becomes a new season. So the seasons go according to the sun, and therefore they are masculine. I think I'll stop here. I'm running out of steam. This is Baruch Fleischman, and we're at the Tikkun Elevator Call-Out.